Incoming audio transmission. Something's happening, Tenno.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Warframe Digest, episode 18. Today we'll be going over Devstream 36, and this is 3 weeks after 10 Alive. It's been a while, so bear with me, this might be a little long. Well, it might be 15, I don't know, let's see how it goes. So, what did they go over in this Devstream? Well, they pretty much announced the official releases of the Xbox One version of Warframe. We already are on PS4 and we are on PC. We are a multi-platform game and the community is just growing, it's expanding. I've been seeing some of the feedback from the Warframe community on the forums. A lot of you are loving it, a lot of you are hating it, and it's business as usual. Aside from that, they announced that 14.5 will be making its appearance on consoles next week. No idea exactly when, but it was next week, so a lot of good content coming your way, guys, and in all honesty, you will love the 14.5 event. I loved it, I enjoyed it, I wish it would have stayed. I really can't wait until that mission mode makes a full appearance in the game in the days to come. Aside from that, they showed us a little bit more of Wormius, that little minigame taking place with none other than the Worm Sentinel. And it was the extended version, it was the actual full thing that wasn't cut out this time around. And in all honesty, it looked really amusing, it looked really interesting, and let me just zoom this in, and you can see the rest.
Oh, it's so insane.
No, they have their own, I'm sure they're getting sound.
Are you being one? And sick logo, there you go.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
This is a pretty good run.
Yeah.
I guess this was for her.
Oh, and this is the final boss?
Yeah, the projectile configuration is
insane.
Yeah.
This is the part they
Ikaruga much?
Yeah, we didn't show this stuff. Yeah.
They didn't?
No, this is completely.
I like that they're throwing crates at you. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit placeholder.
Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
It was actually Luke.
Yeah? Buff Super F.
Aside from that, they also talked about the cross-animation set, the thing that they talked about where Rhino can use the noble stance of Ember and pretty much do a nice sexy little lean to the sides or something. And they were making fun of Mirage's noble with her hand on her waist, and just imagine Volt with that. He's already sassy, that just makes him so much more sassier. But aside from that, they pretty much said it's under the works. They're considering how they're going to do a payment model for it, and once that's all done, vamos, it's out for the general public. And talking about changes and things like that, because payment model will have a lot of changes until they actually make a final ideal. Other changes that they talked about, the status buffs. Pretty much status chance is a weird little thing, it's a great little mechanic, it needs to be fleshed out, and they're talking about how to buff it. Whether to buff the base mods, the ones that are just status, or modifying the event ones, or changing how status works across all weapons. And in honesty, status needs to be more apparent. It's great. Some of these weapons are a little lackluster on them, but we digress. They're also talking about the Glacium and how it's been buffed and how it may continue to be buffed, considering that it wasted too much ammo, now it wastes a little less, but now it does too little damage, now it may do a little more. Maybe the stance needs a little bit more pushing, and maybe it needs, like, I don't know. Buffs, nerfs, changes, coming in the near future, that's all we can really say on that. Alongside with the heavy weapons charge. You guys remember the Galentine and the Jet Tag and all that, where you just held the button and just did a little spinning top and just like thought things were dying. Well, they're considering making a return of the heavy weapons melee charges. I emphasize heavy weapons because they didn't talk about the swords, the pole arms, or anything like that. Mainly just heavy weapons, mainly big axes and big swords and big hammers. Because everyone misses spinning like a hammer, top, whatever, words. And that's about it for those little bits of changes. And potential things that may look into is the Brad and Prime. There have been over 20 posts pretty much hammering this weapon requiring a buff of sorts in the last 2 weeks, and they've taken notice, and that's gonna take a look at. And well, we just had snipers getting buffed. What else? The shotguns need another look at, apparently. And Steve said he'll look into it. Aside from that, they also talked about pretty much upcoming features. This is the big part of this. 4 minute 20 seconds. Yeah, I'm already hitting the big features. They talked about the upcoming feature, potentially for Update 14, or the milestone feature for Update 15, and that is Hub Worlds. You guys remember that? I showed that like in, I don't know, Digest 5 or like really early. I can't find the footage anymore because my external died. But yeah, Hub Worlds are going to be finally implemented on Update 15. Hub will be the big feature. It will be before the focus system, which I'll get to in a second. And it looks like a lot of good things are coming for us in words. Meh. Yeah, so pretty much the Hub Worlds are going to be the big feature for Update 15. It'll be actively providing the community with social spaces, NPCs, quests, clan zones, fancy little doodads and nitbits, and they didn't go into detail for many things, except for clans. Most likely clans will be allowed a small segment in these hubs where they can actually build a portion of their dojo that they want to showcase, and pretty much do it as active recruiting, or pretty much statue glorification. We're looking at you, Warbros, Prime, Warbros, #1, just Warbros. Alright, just whatever extension of your name is, Warbros. You guys have almost all the statues. If not, you have all of them, but almost all. That's too many, and I want to see them, because I've never seen them. But, moving aside, and that seems to be the biggest deal. Another interesting little thing that they talked about was a special badge for people in the community that can represent some sort of assistance. Pretty much an in-game badge some people will be given out. Maybe some fan sites or fan channels are very helpful. Maybe some of the Redditors. Maybe Mogamu, if anything, if he's chilling on the hubs. And I don't know, people. Maybe Silverbone gets one. Most likely Silverbone gets one. And it's very interesting to see that they're willing to make unique items for people in the community that are iconic or helpful, or that they feel represent their game and their aspirations in the game, so they can get acknowledgement and pretty much help the community grow as a whole. Another thing that some people might be wondering, social space, social hub, social... will we get our animations so we can actually express ourselves? Maybe. They talked about animations a little, they dabbled into it when they talked about the Kubro commands. Pretty much they have looked into how they will be working with Kubro commands. Pretty much how do you tell your Kubro pretty much sit, stay, attack there, go there, defend here, or whatever. And most likely that might come in tandem with the emote system. Whether that's Update 15, it has not been determined. It has been heavily looked into. We have seen some placeholder animations, and they've come side by side with the Kubros. We've seen some of those animations as well, and we don't know. Another thing they talked about Kubros was the whole entire cryostasis sickness. When you pull out a Kubro, it takes 3 hours to pull them out, and it's just frustrating. And they talked about maybe finding a way to accelerate that, involving Argon Crystal and Cryotic, or Cryotic. I'm just gonna stick with that. Maybe you can make an item with these ice shards and the argon crystals that pretty much deteriorate quick, and fuse up an item that can deteriorate the ice particles inside the Kubros so they can go into battle quicker. Which makes logical, complete, total sense. When I put it like that, at least. And aside from that, they talked about some new Season 3 helmets. Season 3 helmets have been something we have covered in the past, and this time they decided to go over 6 new helmets for Vauban, and they look incredible. It looks like this. Look at those, they look pretty. And then you have these, and look at those look awesome. And they also went over Necros getting some additional helmets, because Necros need some helmet love, apparently. Take that as you will. And pretty much these are the first 3 for Necros, and these look kinda interesting. And they also talked about these other 3 And we're speculating that maybe we've shown these before? Who knows? Maybe. But that's pretty much it for the helmets. And they also talked about little things to dabble in. Maybe Copperduring getting its unique animation so it doesn't just seem like spinning top. Making it more legit than it already is. They've acknowledged it's a legit feature. And then they went over some baddies! Yay, remember that baddie we saw on Tenno Live? Well, here are the other ones. These are actually recapping back to the new enemies, the enemies of the Tenno, the new infested enemies that will be coming down the road. And this actually looks incredible and spooky. These are very reminiscent of the Flood from Halo. They do remind me of Dead Space, and I regret playing Dead Space because that game was a little too much for me. I don't do horror. And these guys just seem to be giving the Infested so much more life and variety. Something that the Infested have really been lacking. And overall, like, I really can't wait to see some of these in game. Some of these look terrifying, some of these look just really annoying because we don't know exactly what they're gonna do. And then we have those little cute things that are just like scurrying about like little Zerglings. And I'm like, oh look, little Zerglings! But I digress. And last but not least, the big meat of the discussion, the big deal, the big topic, and that was Arkwing. So they showed us a bunch of things related to Arkwing, and they pretty much began the things by talking about, will Arkwing require a quest? Will it not require a quest? Some of them saying, no, they should just have it. Some of them saying, like, we should really introduce it to them. And they may do a little mini event before Arkwing, so we can get the pieces and the items and all that to actually start creating our Arkwing when the time comes to play. They showed us some gameplay. I was very skeptical at first, but then after seeing this, I actually have been very reassured that Arkwing will be a good thing for the game. It looks very fresh, it looks very organic, it feels as if it fits into the game smoothly, and it's not going to be on rails. They proved it to us that it's going to be a free-float space combat game, something like Strike Through Zero or Zone of the Enders, and in all honesty, it looks great. It looks long overdue. It looks like this should have been something in Warframe from the get-go, because it just looks that nice and organic to the game. And they talked about pretty much working range and melee. Like, you will be able to shoot people from a distance, obviously, as you can see, and working melee. And right now, the working melee for this demo wasn't necessarily that great. It supposedly was a little skippy, but it seemed just fine for me. And yeah, flying around in space, striking people with a giant sword. They're fun. They also talked about different variants for the Arkwings. Arkwings will come in different variants and styles, each one with its own powers and abilities, much like the Warframes themselves. These powers will actually overlap the Tenno set, so you can be pretty much Trinity, Nova, Ember, Rhino, Excalibur, Loki, and you have these exact powers because these are attached to the Arkwings themselves. And the Arkwing that they showed us was known as the Dragonfly, Odonata. And in all honesty, it looks pretty awesome. I can see why they can make an assumption of it being called a Dragonfly. And the Odonata's powers they went reverse style, so 4-to-1. 4 being Stasis Bubble, which is this giant CC bubble that would just lock enemies in place. And it looks really great. Homing missiles that will just lock onto the enemies and just devastate them. Pretty much countermeasures, anti-missile countermeasures, flares if you would say. That was that little like rainbow show of lights coming off the Odonata. And then a front-facing shield that pretty much as you dash forward, it protects you from anything coming from the front, but you're so exposed from the back, so make sure that only use it when you're charging into damage or around it, not away from it, because you're exposing your whole entire backside. And I don't know, this whole entire Arkwing thing, it's beautiful, it's incredible, I actually love it, I'm being very biased on it, but then again, I just love most things related to space and space combat and free-floating, mainly why I play a lot of games of that genre. They did also go into detail about, aside from the multiple different Arkwings with different powers, they talked about interchangeable weapons, different guns, different railguns, different big laser deals, and also different melees, pretty much a giant axe, a giant sword, and different things like that. And there's a lot of it on the Design Council, and I cannot show you that because Design Council prevents me from actually disclosing that information. But if you go to Reddit, granted it's there somewhere, and I'll let them do it. And Arkwing will also come in different multiple mission styles. It's not going to be the same mission where you're only locked to the Arkwing to do this one objective. It will come in different maps and in different mission styles. No exact details were given, but I really, really want Arkwing. And that's pretty much that. They also dabbled into the idea of asteroids being destroyable, where you can get Rabido and things like that, so yeah, more to come. And that pretty much does it for Arkwing, so let's go over this real quickly. Excavation missions will be doing a return, we really don't know when. They talked about Proxy Wars making a little sneaking appearance over the next few updates. Pretty much we'll slowly be getting it. Maybe we get most of the Proxy Wars before 15, maybe we get it during 15. Again, no details were given. And so that's pretty much it. Update 15 will be Arkwing. Big thing about Arkwing. Player hubs alongside these Arkwings. The Ice Tiles will be making a full appearance in Update 15, most likely with the excavation missions. And it'll be taking over Europa. That's what it seemed like it was going to be. Wormius will be coming soon to a worm near you. And yeah, soon. Trademark soon. So that pretty much does it for the Warframe Digest 18. Hopefully you guys had a nice little recap of everything that just happened. So, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Annotations, they're all over the place, mainly at the end. And tell me what you guys thought in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time for the Warframe Digest 19.